early start to Women's History Month, which begins tomorrow. Can you believe it's almost March? You know we love celebrating women striving in every field and in every era. And one woman, famous for her many eras, Kelly knows, she loves her, and her business savvy. Not Kelly O'Grady. I'm talking about Taylor Swift, who generated a record $2 billion with her 2024 Eras Tour and made headlines last year when she revealed that she now owns all of her music. That was just last year. Wow. Well, there's a new book discussing the broader lessons that we can all take from the global superstar's career and financial success. It's called Swiftynomics, How Women Mastermind and Redefine Our Economy. You can buy it now by scanning the QR code on your screen. And here to break it all down is author, professor, and economist, Misty Heggness. Misty, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, you know, you are an expert in this field. We've spoken before about women in the economy. You use Taylor Swift as your muse, but you have specific lessons that all of us can use. Can you break us down through some of the key lessons there?
Yeah, so I go through this in the book, but essentially there's three key lessons or three key ideas that Taylor has used throughout her career that I think has proven to be very successful for her. The first one is authenticity. Taylor is very authentic with her audience, with her fans, and she has been since she was a teenager. She really leans into that. She does a lot of interacting with her fans, and they have fun together. The second one is reinvention. And we all know that the Eras Tour is the epitome of reinvention, and Taylor has continually had to reinvent herself in her career, and we all do it. And the fourth is masterminding. And masterminding is really looking at the long-term strategy, trying to figure out in the short run if you have a barrier in front of you, something that's impeding you from getting where you want to go. It is maybe sitting with that in the moment, but strategizing the steps that you're going to do to get around that barrier.
I want to pick up on the authenticity piece because I think, you know, we look at Taylor Swift. She has a very unique set of skills that I could certainly never hope to replicate. And I think sometimes in the workplace, marginalized groups, women are punished when they are their authentic selves, and that conformity is rewarded. You know, do what has been done before you. So why do you think that would apply to folks like us that, you know, aren't Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question, and that's totally true. You know, I'm a woman and I'm a builder. I love to build things and I love to lead. And it is really hard to be a woman leader in our labor market and in our economy because society has other expectations of how we should behave. Having said that, I think being really authentic with your frustration about either being able to advance or not, or being authentic about the challenges that you're experiencing and sharing them with people that you trust. So it might not be the person right in front of you. It might not be your direct supervisor or manager who's has other expectations for you, but get yourself a mentor, get yourself multiple mentors, and lean on them. And, you know, you can be really authentic with them. They're there to support you, and that's one way to use authenticity to your advantage.
Another way that you look at Taylor Swift and her tour is by looking at each of the stops on her tour and the women in those areas and their economics. What did that tell you?
Yeah, so it was really interesting. I have in the front of the book, there's a map of the United States, and it has all the stops of the first leg of the U.S. tour, of the Eras Tour. And we basically looked at what are the top occupations in those cities for women, what's the poverty rate, and what's the median income. And for me, what was really interesting is just the number of cities that have nursing or education as the top job for women is just really amazing to see that on paper. I hadn't really realized that before.
And what does that say about the sort of purchasing power of women and sort of, I mean, oftentimes women are thinking about the finances in the household, making those decisions.
Yet making less money than men in their fields.
Yes, right, exactly, despite that wage gap.
Yeah, so, you know, I have a somewhat spin on this that's very positive, for better or worse. But I think if we look at generationally over time, you look at millennials today, and that's actually Taylor's generation. You know, more than ever, millennials were told when they were growing up that the women were told they could be anything, they could do anything. Millennial women are getting married and partnering up later in life. They're having fewer kids, or when they have kids, they're postponing. And what that means is that women of that generation have a lot more disposable income than women of any other prior generation, and they're using it to consume and purchase things that give them joy, like an experience at the Eras Tour. So, you know, even though there's still a gender wage gap, a lot of that has to do with the motherhood penalty and families and having children. You know, there's a lot of positives that have happened to women in their economic agency over time.
All right. I like an optimistic take. Thank you so much, Professor. We appreciate it. The book is called Swiftynomics, How Women Mastermind and Redefine Our Economy. To buy it, just scan the QR code on your screen. You see it right there. Misty Heggness, thank you so much.
Thank you.